Hey all my Crimsonites, and welcome to the Crimson Cure channel, where we embrace our femininity, increase our womanly values, and celebrate our brothers. So join me on our feminine journey to learn, heal, and grow. Hello, everybody. How is everyone doing today? Thank you, Miss Almond Eyes, for kicking off the contributions. Hey, sis, hey, family, like and share. Thank you so much, sweetheart. Appreciate you guys. We are going to get into it because there have been developments over the weekend. Okay, over the weekend, there have been developments in this whole sordid case with Miss Fani. Now I know that she pronounces her name Fani, but we gonna say Fani because that's how they spelled it. Should have put an H in it if she wanted, if she want folks to just off the top know that it is Fani and not Fanny. But in any case, thank you so much. Damien said, a lovely Miss Kendra, I've been working like crazy. How have you been? I like my hyena medium well with a dash of salt, straight in the trash. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. As of now, Damien is the sponsor of the show. So I appreciate your contributions. Right. Right. So, getting up there trying to be fancy, it's funny. Girl, you are like 53. You Fanny, baby. You Fanny, beloved. I'm sorry. You just are. Thank you, Theo, for sponsoring the show for today. Thank you so much. I appreciate you so much. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Exactly. Trying to sound exotic, girl. Everybody, and in the South, girl, you Fanny. You Fanny. You Fanny. Stop it now. But where I left off Friday was talking about how they settle for everything. And we are going to go back to that because it all kind of ties in. What I really want to focus on is I want to focus on hyena communication. All forms of hyena communications. Okay? Hyena TNT, hyena communications, hyena mobile. And what I want, as you all listen to this, particularly the women, as you listen to not only today's show, but my upcoming videos, things of that nature, I'm going to be focusing probably for the foreseeable future, hyena communication and how bad it actually is. Fanny's communication is bad, and it's bad everywhere. And I want the women listening to me, ones who are in marriages right now, ones who are not in marriages, ones who can't keep a man, ones who they don't know why their relationships fizzle out and things of this nature. I want you to think long and hard whether or not you communicate like this as I point things out as we go along. I want y'all to think in your personal life. Do I talk like this? I have said before, I need women to watch how they tell stories. Watch how they relay information. Watch how you frame things, how you say things, because every woman is guilty of it to some degree, whether she is a hyena or a lioness, myself included. Women are susceptible. Every woman has done it. Like I said, to some degree. Some women are worse than others with telling a story a certain way and saying stuff a certain way and communicating a certain way. But we're going to point these things out as we go. Now, before I get to Fanny's bad communication, before I get to her bad communication, we're going to get down to these lies. Now, over the course of the past few days, Donald Trump, like him, hate him, I personally find Donald to be quite entertaining. I don't know about nobody else, but I find Donald Trump, anytime he get in front of a microphone or a camera, whether you know what he talking about, don't know what he talking about, like what he talking about, don't like what he talking about, that man is funny. he gets up there and sometimes he be talking complete nonsense. And he be like, what are you talking about? And sometimes he be getting up there, you be like, nah, he low-key makes sense. But he, you know, he out there. He out there. Trump been entertaining since the Apprentice days. I used to watch Apprentice. And Celebrity Apprentice, I always thought Trump was keeping it real for the most part with people. Like, no, that's stupid. I don't know why you doing that. What you do that for? That's you thought that was gonna work. That's not gonna work. Did that make sense to you? Did that make sense to me? Did that make any sense to anybody else? I mean, I found them hilarious. He kind of trolls. Trump be trolling, and I think people need to really understand that Trump trolls. But he wasn't trolling when he filed an affidavit. And we're going to take a look at the affidavit that he filed. Because whether it becomes admissible or not, it really does what it was meant to do. It really does what it was meant to do. Now, I want to share my screen with you guys. I want to make sure I show you the first one. Okay, this is the one that I want to show. Now, this, and I'm going to make it big so everybody can see. Okay? So everybody can see. Now, if you want a legal breakdown to this, you would do best to check out the lead attorney. Shout out to the lead attorney. If you want a legal breakdown from a lawyer's point of view, I am not a lawyer or legal expert of any kind. But I want to point out a few things. We are not going to read this entire. We're not going to read this entire thing, but we want to read the key parts. Now, this is an affidavit that was filed by Trump's lawyers. Now, one thing to be pointed out, in the case that the DA, Fani Willis, is prosecuting versus Donald Trump, has a lot of co-defendants. That case has a lot of co-defendants, Rudy Giuliani, lots of different notable people. But when Trump wanted to file this affidavit, it's just him. He only lists him. This is him. He's like, look, all games aside, I get places and I troll and I say a bunch of stuff. But one thing I'm not is stupid. And I know how to play these games with these people because I know that they play games. So he basically saying, everybody out of the room, watch me work. Now, it's just the state of Georgia, which we'll see in Fani's response, that state of Georgia in this particular instance means her. Anyways, versus Donald J. Trump. And as lead attorney so aptly pointed out, he refers himself as President Trump like he the current president, y'all. Not former President Trump. He said President Trump. This is how you know he be trolling. But in any case, okay, this is the summation of what this affidavit is. President Trump hereby files this corrected proposed supplemental defense exhibit 38 to the hearing on defendant's motion to dismiss and disqualify. So this has been entered for Fani's dismissal and disqualification hearing. Okay. Proposed supplemental defense exhibit 38 consists of an affidavit from defense investigator Charles Middlestat certifying the cell hawk analysis and reports which are attached to the affidavit as exhibits A through C. The cell hawk analysis and reports, as well as the certified AT&T records, have been provided electronically via a cloud folder link contained in the courtesy service email. Mr. Middlestat, the author of Exhibit 38, is available to testify at the court's convenience. Respectfully submitted, Stephen Sadow. Now, Stephen is going to be the white man that eventually gets up to question Fani in her viral testimony. Now, we're going to come down to this part. This is the actual body of the affidavit. My name is Charles Middlestat. I am 59 years of age. I am a criminal defense investigator working with attorneys Steve Sadow and Jennifer Little in support of the defense of Donald J. Trump in this case. In conjunction with counsel of record for Michael Roman on or around February 9th of 2024, I personally served a request for records upon AT&T's Subpoena Compliance Center. The requested documents included voice and call and text history, as well as specialized location for AT&T numbers belonging to subscriber Nathan Wade. On the morning of February 15th, counsel received the response. So the morning, let me be clear. He's saying the morning, the day of, when they were questioning Fani on the stand. Now it makes sense why they kept asking her and Nathan Wade them questions over and over and over and over in different ways. Is because while they could not present this paperwork at that time, at that moment, they had it. And they had read it. Okay? And they read it. Listen. This is what we won't do. I can say he's funny. He is funny. To me. Me mentioning him is not automatically some endorsement y'all get. I did a whole disclaimer on that. See the video that I did a couple of weeks ago. We are not going to do that. I am not going to be held hostage on this channel and not able to say that man's name, especially when we're talking about a situation that directly involves him. In any case, they had that information on hand, even though they could not present it as evidence. So they continued to ask questions to make them answer, to see if they're basically see if you're gonna lie. I already got the answer to this question, but I want to see if you're actually gonna be the DA of Fulton County in Georgia, and if you're going to perjure yourself on the witness stand, which it would appear as though she did. So let's go back. Let's take a look at this. So he's saying on the morning of, they received the requested subpoena records from AT&T for both Fani's phone and Nathan Wade's phone. Okay. Following my review of the zip file, I confirmed that AT&T fully complied with the request, the bulk of which included records for the period. This is important. They got records for the period of January 1st, 2021 through November the 30th, 2021. This is the period just before he was appointed on the team for prosecuting this case. Okay? Remember, they asked on the witness stand if Fani Willis and Nathan Wade had a romantic relationship prior to his appointment, prior to his contract. They both said no. They said that they were friends and that they had known each other, but that they were not in a romantic relationship prior to. That is important. Prior to would be prior to, I believe, November the 1st or whatever, which is when he got appointed, which is when he got hired. They're trying to establish that they indeed had a romantic relationship prior to that, which is why she appointed him. Do you understand? If they can prove that through undeniable evidence, which would be cell phone records. This is the same cell phone records that any prosecution or whatever would get in order to try to prove somebody was at a particular place at a particular time, because your phone pings towers. Your phone pings cell phone towers. All of them. Okay? Everybody's smartphone pings towers, especially if you're stationary in a particular place. Your phone is going to ping that tower. Okay? Now, he said, upon receipt, I began an analysis using a Leads Online analytics tool called SailHawk. SailHawk is considered by law enforcement to be the gold standard in cell phone records analytics. It is used throughout the United States and Georgia by law enforcement agencies and should be well known to the Fulton County District Attorney's Office. Okay, so he's saying, look, everybody and their mama in the legal system uses SailHawk. SailHawk is the tool that they use in order to interpret and gather the information that a phone company would send. Okay. As a board-certified criminal defense investigator, having specialized in criminal cases for over 25 years, I routinely use SailHawk to conduct analysis on records, both on initiated subpoenas and those received in discovery. My firm was granted a license and completed training in 2019. I pay an annual licensing fee, and SailHawk is the program that I use exclusively to analyze such records. Since that time, my staff and I continuously attend webinars and remain up to date on training and the latest features available via SailHawk Analytics. So he's saying he's not out of touch. If they change something or some further training is needed to be able to interpret the information that is sent, he is able to do so. Okay. I have a strong working knowledge of its capabilities and limits, and I have extensive experience utilizing this program to analyze cell phone data. While I am not a cell phone tower engineer or expert, I have the equivalent experience and training of those individuals routinely tasked by the law enforcement agencies or the DA's office with identical analysis responsibilities. Okay, so that in that paragraph, he's stating his expertise here. I know what I'm talking about is what he's basically trying to say. I know what I'm talking about. So when I analyze these records that come through CellHawk, I know how to interpret that information. Okay. Under normal circumstances, analysis is conducted on data involving far narrower record periods, perhaps a few days or a few weeks. It is difficult to underestimate the amount of data in this scenario. However, while the sheer size in no way impacts the ability to conduct the analysis, it did require a different approach in order to narrow down potential dates to explore. And I began my analysis by focusing on two distinct reports. Number one, generating a report attached to Exhibit A, isolating all interactions. This includes voice calls and text messages between Mr. Wade and Ms. Willis during the period of available records. The dates, timing, frequency, and duration of these interactions are included as part of that report. The report revealed over 2,000 voice calls. 2,000 voice calls. I need y'all to understand that. And just under 12,000 interactions exchanged over the 11-month period in 2021. A heat map attached as Exhibit B highlights the interaction patterns, which demonstrate a prevalence of calls made in the evening hours. The second thing, focusing on geolocation activity near the Hapeville. The Hapeville residence, for those of you who don't know, is the condo that she swear to God that Mr. Wade never spent the night at. I'm going somewhere with this. They said he never spent the night, and that they were not in a romantic relationship during that time. It is important. This is key to everything else I'm about to say in the second half of this show. Okay. As you're not talking to nobody that long, that much, that you're not banging. Let's go. Now, the Hapeville. Now, this is not redacted because this is a public record anyways. So I'm not going to say the address, but it's public record. In any case, the Hapeville condo, which was testified to by Mrs. Yearty as the address of her condominium and generating a report to reflect such activity. Given the urgency associated with the need to analyze this newly acquired data against the relevant testimony, I constructed a very conservative geofence which isolates the two cell towers in closest proximity to this address. One is roughly 3,000 and the other 2,000 meters away. So these are close towers. Fani and the two towers. Somebody put Fani and the two towers in the chat. If you are a Lord of the Rings fan, you get that reference. Now, the purpose of this geofence was to conduct an initial assessment of whether Mr. Wade's phone ever connected to these towers. Additionally, this modality was used to eliminate the possibility that hits could be associated with routine travel on either I-75 or I-85 or visits to nearby attractions or the airport. So basically, Mr. Middlestat is saying that I tried to isolate and basically reduce false positives. I don't want to set this dude up. I want the actual pings on these particular towers for a sustained amount of time, not to be confused with random pings that may occur just because he was traveling somewhere, just because he may have been going to the airport, just because he may have been going down the highway. Okay? Y'all silly. How y'all gonna go ahead and put it in the chat? Y'all silly. I love y'all. Anyway, okay? So, following that initial conservative sweep limited to those two towers, I further constrained those findings to hits on Alpha Sector or Azimuth 2, which pointed directly at the Dogwood Drive community. Additionally, the report was limited to those occasions when the phone was connected for an extended period. So they're trying to make sure that this analysis is foolproof, that you can't come back and say, oh, I was just driving by, that's why I pinged like that. Or I was just at this other place and it could have connected to that tower. I wasn't at that place. These people, listen when I tell you that your cell phone give away everything. Okay, these whether you making phone calls or not, whether you're actively on the phone or not, the phone's location is on. It will ping these towers. It will. These bad boys right here tell everything they know. You see, they listens to you. Anytime you can even think something, and the next thing you know, a commercial for that thing will pop up. So please don't tell me that this thing will not ping a tower. Yes, it will. If you don't want it to ping a tower, you best not to have it. Don't even own it. Certainly don't bring it with you. Okay? Now, with that being said, he said this conservative analysis using the above reference modality revealed a minimum 35 occasions when Mr. Wade's phone connected for extended period to either one of those towers in closest proximity to the Hapeville address based upon associated data use, voice calls, or text messages. The data reveals he is stationary and not in transit. Now, let's go. He then gives a couple, and I'm gonna be done with this after this right here. I'm gonna be done with this affidavit because I told you I'm not gonna read the whole thing. I want y'all to listen real close to this. He give you two examples, 2 dates. Okay. The first one is September 11th through 12th in 2021. Before Mr. Wade is hired. And November the 29th and 30th in 2021, prior to what I understand was the in-court testimony that the romantic relationship began in 2022. Specifically, on the first date, September 11th, Mr. Wade's phone left the Doraville area and arrived within the geofence located on the Dogwood address at 10:45 p.m., 10:45. I know when that hotline bling, it could only mean one thing. I know when that hotline bling, when the hotline bling, somebody put hotline bling in the chat. Hotline bling. Okay. The phone remained there until September the 12th at 3:28 a.m. That is in the morning. In the wee hours of the morning. At which time the phone traveled directly to the towers located in East Cobb, consistent with his routine, pinging at his residence in that area. The phone arrived in East Cobb at approximately 4:05 a.m., taking about 35 minutes to get to the house. And records demonstrate he sent a text at 4:20, baby, I made it in safely. Additionally, on November the 29th, Mr. Wade's phone was pinging on the East Cobb Towers near his residence, and following a call, I know when that hotline bling, it could only mean one thing. It can only mean one thing. Hotline blinged at 11:32 p.m. That's at night. That's almost midnight. That's when the hotline bling. That's when it bling. While the call continued, his phone, oh baby, they on the phone yipper gapping before he get there. You know how you call your little boo thing. She called the boo thing and was like, come over here and tap this up. Talk to me as you on your way. Talk to me. I just need to hear your voice. Talk to me. Talk to me. She want to be talked to. You ain't just going roll through here, get the phone call, hang up. I want to know when you're pulling into the driveway. I want you to pull up to my bumper, baby, in your long black limousine. Hey, what? Pull up to the bumper, baby. Ride me in between. And she want to know when he pull up to the bumper. You best call me. Now, don't hang up. Don't you hang that phone. Don't you hang that phone up. Talk to me on your way. Now, phone call continued. His phone left the East Cobb area just after midnight. Baby, he had to jump in the shower. She called him at 11:32. He was like, hold on, baby, hold on. Let me get myself together. Let me wash it up and put my little stuff on. You know what I'm saying? I know the cologne you like. Let me put that on. You know, and then we gon' yip a gap the whole way. Arrived within the geofence located on the Dogwood address at 12:43 on November the 30th. The phone remained there until 4:55 a.m. Now, you ain't having a personal relationship with a man that's coming over in the wee hours of the morning. That he ain't somebody rocking, knocking the boots. Say, we ain't no boot knocking. Cause the only thing I know, open at that hour, is a pair of legs, baby. That's the only thing that's what I know. Huh? You sitting up there, what you doing? Playing shoots and ladders? You're sitting up there playing tiddlywinks. Huh? Is that what you're doing? Pinochle? You up there playing Go Fish? Up there playing spades? Or is you playing Uno? What you doing? I want to know what you doing at 11, 12, 1, 2, 3 in the morning. Huh? What you want? Y'all discussing? What y'all discussing? A case? What y'all talking about? Then all of a sudden, y'all ain't have no romantic relationship, but yet y'all start taking trips early 2022. So no sooner than 2022 hit, that's when magically your relationship start, and immediately y'all start going on cruises and Aruba and Belize and all that. That's what you're doing. Don't play with me. Stop playing with me. We grown. We grown in here. They sat on that witness stand and played in everybody's face. And that is why those questions was coming in like that, because it was weird to me. Why y'all continuing to ask these same questions in small variation, different little, you sure? That's why they kept saying that. You sure he wasn't there? You sure he didn't spend the night at between this time and this time? You sure you didn't have a romantic relationship? You sure? You sure that didn't happen? Are you certain that didn't happen? You sure he didn't spend the night? You sure? We're going to get back to it, but after these messages, we'll be right back, because I need everybody in this chat room right now to go to ashkicking.com. If you are trying to keep your skin looking, feeling, and smelling its absolute best, this is some of the best body butter that you will ever use. I guarantee you that. Ash Kicking does not play. All right. They did not come to play with nobody. These products are awesome. They are well crafted. They are wonderful to use. This body butter in particular, I'm very impressed with, because sometimes you know how you get a body butter and it's too oily or it's too thick or it doesn't absorb very well, or the smell is either too overpowering or not enough. This is actually a perfect balance of all of those things. The packaging is just as beautiful as you can see it. And if for whatever reason this is your very first time getting an order, you definitely want to take advantage of the 10% discount that you can receive on your first order using the promo code Crimson. So I definitely need everybody to go to ashkicking.com. The link is pinned to the top of the chat. Also, I don't know how many likes I need, but I owe y'all a bam, 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 bam. You gotta hit the like button. Bam, bam. You gotta go ahead and hit the like button. We've got about 750 or so people in here. Please go ahead and hit that like button. Let me get to the super chats, and then we're gonna get back to, all right, Mogul, thank you so much. So this Fani situation is so much to unpack. It puts into perspective so much that you've talked about. Thank you so much. It is a lot to unpack. I wanted to do it in 2 shows. It might be 3 depending on what I can get through, because these developments with these affidavits, while more of the legalese, does still tie into the foolishness that we saw on the stand. But thank you so much, Mogul, who is the sponsor of the show. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Steve said, what it is, good peeps. How you doing? Conundrum said, there is a side of this that many are overlooking as it relates to our troubles. I'd love to chime in. Thank you so much, Ramel, for your super sticker. And thank you, Lord Sinister, says she is playing with the side piece starter pack. She wasn't good at either, and that's part of the problem. Okay. So we're going to get back to the foolishness. Now, what's a little bit less important, so I'm not going to necessarily read through it, but I do want to be able to show you guys, and apparently Donald Trump replied back to this. Notice state of Georgia, that's really her. And she put all of these co-defendants back on there, which they were gone. Donald Trump filed that on his own. But okay. State's objection to and motion to exclude defendant Donald J. Trump's proposed supplemental Exhibit 38 submitted in violation, right? So now lead attorney has the skinny on what this means, the Daubert case and all that kind of stuff. Like I told you, I am not any form of a legal expert at all. So we are not even going to play that game. But I do want to point out something very interesting. Comes now the state of Georgia by and through. Remember when I told you state of Georgia means her? Comes now the state of Georgia by and through Fulton County District Attorney Fani T. Willis, and both objects to and moves the court to exclude defendant Donald Trump's proposal supplemental Exhibit 38, the affidavit we read. She doesn't want it admissible as any form of evidence. We're going to jump down to why. She gives 4 reasons. First, she states the law and then gives 4 reasons why it should not be included. Okay. Standing case management order for criminal cases states as follows. Experts, any party seeking to rely on expert testimony at trial or any evidentiary hearing must provide written notice to the opposing party. Essentially, what that means is if the defense or something like that, or even if prosecution or whatever comes up with, finds out about, obtained some evidence or whatever it is they're going to use, you actually have to let the other side know that you have it, right? So you can't like ambush people on the stand and all of this other type of stuff. Must provide written notice to the opposing party. This notice must include a meaningful summary of the expert testimony, as well as his or her qualifications to serve as an expert witness. This notice must be provided at least 14 days before the final plea/trial calendar call and 7 days before any evidentiary hearing requiring expert testimony. So this is the law that she quotes. Then she gives her reasons as to why Trump's affidavit violated it. The first reason she says is defendant Trump provided no written notice to the state. Number 2, defendant Trump provided no summary of the purported expert testimony. Number 3, defendant Trump provided no information related to qualifications of the witness to serve as an expert witness. And number 4, no notice was provided at least 7 days before the evidentiary hearing that began on February 15th, 2024. Okay. All right. I'm going to stop sharing because, like I said, I'm not going to read that whole thing. The reason that I wanted to point that out is because she's now going to use whatever legal loophole that she understands, knows about, whatever precedent set in law or whatever, to make sure that that can't be legally used against her. Essentially, she perjured herself. But in order to, it's not what you know, is what you can prove in court. So if there's a loophole that allows for this subpoenaed information to not actually be used against her to prove her testimony to be false, then it can't impact the judgment of whether or not she is to be disqualified from the case. Okay? Do you understand that? Now, however, even if she has a point, even if she has a point, even if legally that loophole exists and she uses it successfully, don't you know the fact that he even filed, and the fact that Mr. Middlestat actually explained how that information was analyzed and then gave two prominent examples of what he was talking about is enough to let the public know whether it can be utilized in court legally or not. It let the public know that she's lying. So the reputation is marred. And even if it can't be used in this case, it might be able to be used in any future cases to discredit her, to let the court know, to let the people know that she is not trustworthy, that her integrity is questionable, that she will go so far as to potentially perjure herself on the stand to cover her tracks. If you have a DA that is possibly willing to, according to these affidavits, allegedly perjure herself on the witness stand, do you want this DA prosecuting cases, especially big cases, especially RICO cases, especially cases against former President Trump, as to where, do you understand? She took a hit, whether her fighting that affidavit works or not. She took a hit publicly. He hit her in her face publicly. Because everybody and their mama can go read that affidavit. And it is written in plain enough English, while not completely in layman's terms. It's written in well enough plain English that your average person, such as you or I, that don't have legal training, understands exactly what was written in that. We know what that says. Okay. So she took a hit, whether that affidavit can be used against her in this case or not. Right? Because nobody told you to get on that stand and lie. Nobody told you to do that. Nobody told you to get on that stand and start lying. The fact that her and Mr. Wade told the same lie means that they were talking about it. In her words, they had a substantive conversation about what they were going to say should they need to go on the witness stand. How bad is her? See, it's the lying for me. And see, it ties into the things that I wanted to say about her before these affidavits came up. The way in which these so-called high-powered hyenas, these strong, independent, successful Black women that aren't going to settle for anything less than the absolute best that they deserve, both professionally and personally, and all of these types of things, all of them are lies. All of that is a lie. The lying is just a part of what you do. You lie about what you will do. You lie about what you won't do. You lie about what you settle for. You lie about what you don't settle for. Because I thought y'all said y'all don't pay for D. Thought y'all said y'all don't provide for men, that you only want a man that's a protector and a provider, that's on your level or better. Thought you said y'all don't pay for that. Thought you said y'all don't pay men for sex. But what it appears to be going on here is that you paid Nathan Wade nothing short of $650,000. That's more than $500,000 collectively by assigning him to this case. Huh? All because he was clapping them cheeks all 2021. Must have knocked you were back knocking them Sonic rings up out you, back knocking them Mario coins. He was knocking the Mario coins out. And he must have knocked that last coin to the moon, baby, because you was like, sign on the dotted line. Boy, if you don't sign on the dotted line, thought y'all don't pay for that. Is it tricking if you got it? I thought y'all high power women don't trick off on these men. Sound like she was tricking off. Sound like you might have been tricking off. Let me see if I can find these. Because didn't she say that he ain't take her no dang on well? Let's see if we can go back. Because didn't she say? Hold on, because I thought she said. Now I'm going to have to go ahead and put my little thing up there. Y'all know how it is.
I'm not as versed as him. He's been to 6 of the 7 continents. And so he has both a personal travel agent and he also has a cruise travel agent. I don't know anything about either of those kind of travel agents. So he is the one that would book the travel. But we need to be clear when we're talking about just because he booked it doesn't mean, like, I don't consider him having taken me any place. Let me just be honest. The only one that's ever taken somebody someplace is for his 50th birthday. I consider that I took him to Belize. And I took him to Belize because, I don't want to discuss his personal business, but I'm happy Mr. Wade is still here with us. And I did 50 big, very big.
So, beloved, she said she did 50 big, baby. She says she don't consider herself to be taken nowhere. I took him. If anybody took anybody, If anybody tricked off on anybody, I tricked off while she was trying to flex. While she was trying to do the independent, successful, I got the money, what you really told the world was that you tricked off. Thought y'all don't do that. I thought y'all said y'all don't spend money on these men, and that any woman that spent money on a man was a pick me. This ain't even your man. You the side chick. This man was getting up out his bed, coming to see you. Not your man. This man was still legally married on paper. I don't care what he said the condition of his relationship was. You wasn't his woman. You was just Mario practice, okay? Somewhere to come to practice knocking coins out of something. You understand that? And he must have knocked them real good, because start paying for money. Start paying for trip. I took him to believe. It ain't tricking if you got it. It ain't tricking if you got it. So if anybody took anybody anywhere, I took him to police, because I don't want to put his business out there. But I'm just thankful that he's still here with us. So I did 50 big. So you spent all that money, possibly, and that's what they trying to get around to. Who money did you spend on him? Taxpayers' money? Huh? What you do? Who money was that? That's where all the I got cash and all that kind of stuff come from. Thought y'all want to live a soft life. I thought that you successful, high-powered Black women don't settle for no man you gotta pay for. And that's for folks like me, the good old pick me, that spend money on a man. At least when I spend money on him, he mine. At least the man I spend money on claim me in public. Because let's just be real, I'll buy Uncle Gift in a minute, a hot minute. But Unc hold my hand at 3 p.m. That would be the afternoon, as well as 3 a.m., which would be the wee hours of the morning. You know, I get to be seen with Unc in these streets in the daytime while the sun's shining. Do you understand that? He ain't shame. No, just sit right there. Just sit over there. No, you can't go with me this time, baby. I'll be right back. No. You just sit right there. I'll be right back. Y'all spending money on men don't belong to you. Boop! You spending money on somebody else's man, somebody else's guy. Oh, can't get off of my horse, and I can't let go. You are the one that made me feel so real. Ooh, what am I supposed to do when I'm all on you? Made me realize that you're somebody else's guy. Y'all spending money on somebody else's guy. Huh? He come through you when the hotline bling, girl. Y'all, he get to work and act like he don't know you. Like act like he didn't just clap your cheeks a few hours ago. but it's pick-me's, right? It's the non-successful pick-me women. We just want to have a man just to say we got one. And just as long as he say, man, I'll give him everything. Y'all give him his money and all that. We ain't giving him nothing. He just better spend it on me. I ain't providing nothing for no grown man. He better just have it. Meanwhile, you taking grown men to Belize on your dime for his 50th birthday. Girl, if you don't knock it off. Bad communication. Then I'm gonna tell you what hurt her soul. Where the timestamp is. Thought y'all don't go Dutch on lunches. Thought y'all don't do that. Thought y'all don't spend no money. I thought you ain't gonna settle for the Cheesecake Factory and all of that, right? Y'all don't spend money on me. And he don't cover the whole bill. No? Where's my sandwich comment? I know I wrote down this sandwich thing. I know I did. Oh, there we go. I'm going to tell you which part of it hurt her. Let's go all the way over here.
Seems like I've been to DC one other time. Oh, I went to DC for the Global Summit. Actually, yeah, those were two separate trips.
My next question is based on her opening the door, and therefore I'll just ask it and Your Honor can decide whether or not it's appropriate. When you went to DC, did you go to the White House?
I did not go to the White House.
No, well,
Apparently I'm going to get the answer anyhow.
there you have it. Next question.
Okay. You indicated your best recollection was that your relationship with Mr. Wade, the romantic relationship, ended, you left it in August of 2023. That sound right?
That's the hard conversation. That's not the.
We've covered this. Next question.
And you characterize it as a tough conversation, correct?
Yes.
I'm not going to get into the conversation per
You
se.
should.
Well, if he doesn't want to, we won't go there. So, Mr. Sadon, next question.
You know, it's kind of hard to say no when you've got that opportunity. But all I'm going to say is, was it pre-indictment in this case?
So,
We know the timeline that the indictment was delivered.
But
actually,
and so that
I'll
we're
give you
clear,
that.
the physical relationship ended pre-indictment.
And is that when you were talking about the tough conversation?
But I'm not sure that the tough conversation didn't happen until after, but the physical relationship. So I'm sure if you ask Mr. Wade, because he's a male, he would say we ended June or July because physical contact ended then. Just in my mind, being a woman, it's over when you have that like hard conversation. I just think women and men think differently.
And I think the answer, Mr. Sadon, to your question was she's not sure whether it was before or after the indictment.
Well, I'm not sure that was her answer, but let's see if I can get specific.
That is what I said. That's what I said.
I'll let you. Next question, Mr. Sadon. If you need to
Want to
clarify.
say one more? The romantic relationship ended before the indictment was returned, yes or no?
To a man, yes.
Well, to a man, yes. To you, no?
She's explained this, Mr. Sadon. She's explained this.
And did the forthcoming indictment have anything to do with that?
Ooh.
Or was it just a coincidence?
Mr. Let's go on and have the conversation.
I'm just asking you whether or not it was a
Had
coincidence.
absolutely nothing to do with this. It's interesting that we're here about this money. Mr. Wade is used to women that, as he told me one time, the only thing a woman can do for him is make him a sandwich. We would have brutal arguments about the fact that I am your equal. I don't need anything from a man. A man is not a plan. A man is a companion. And so there was tension always in our relationship, which is why I would give him his money back. I don't need anybody to foot my bills. The only man who's ever foot my bills completely is my daddy.
Now, I needed y'all to hear that. I needed all of her is enjoying it. She loved every second of that. Because hyenas love that kind of chaos and foolishness. I want y'all to understand, I needed y'all to hear that part of it, which is really the crux of everything that I have been saying. So many different points of her bad communication. This is what I need the women who are listening to me to understand. The way in which you communicating. She said a mouthful there. She said a mouthful. I'm going to go back just a bit. I'm just going to rewind just a tad.
And yes, do you know?
She's explained this, Mr. Sadam. She's explained this.
And did the forthcoming indictment have anything to do with that? Or was it just a coincidence?
Mr. Let's go on and have the conversation.
I'm just asking you whether or not it was a coincidence.
Had absolutely nothing to do with this. It's interesting that we're here about this money. Mr. Wade is used to women that, as he told me one time, the only thing a woman can do for him is make him a sandwich.
Let's pause. Because she said, she stopped herself. She said, he's used to women. He's accustomed to women like her. These strong, independent, successful women. He's accustomed to women that have money of their own. Doesn't mean a whole lot to him in the scope of whether or not he wants to have a relationship with her. She mentions it just before she says that he told her that the only thing a woman can do for him is make a sandwich. Because she made a point all the time to tell him how she didn't need him. You cannot be first of all, that's why I said the other day, side chick ain't side chicken. You're supposed to be the relief. If you gonna be the side chick, you supposed to be the fun chick that don't have conversations with him the way his wife have conversations with him. Because you the side chick. You having fun. You ain't got nothing to argue about. As the side chick, she said we used to have arguments. She said, listen, when a man tell you something like that, and he mean that, exactly, babe. When a man sit there and tell you with a straight face, that listen, the only thing that you really can do for me is make a sandwich. And we know what else accompanied that. Okay? This is a black man we talking about. You know that's what he said. She was bringing up her money. She was bringing up how she didn't need him. She was trying to position her money and her professional position as a way to say how valuable she was as a woman. And she played the same stupid card that these other hyenas play. She's not any smarter than them because they say the same thing. They try to position their professional prowess, they paycheck, they money, and all of these things to say how valuable they are to a man, when in point of fact, those are not the things that are valuable to men in terms of a relationship. Miss C, absolutely. See, somebody like Miss Fanny gon' cross the line and talk about your wife. You don't got to pay for me like you pay for her. You know, she depending on you. I ain't depending on you. I don't care what that man said about that woman. I don't care what he pillow talked to you about that woman and who she was and what she did and what she didn't do good and this, that, and the third. You disqualified if you talk about it. And you disqualified if you bring it back up. That's it. That's all. That's just like somebody talking about they family member and you just gotta just not say nothing because even if you agree, you can't. They can say it, you can't. If he talking sideways to you about that woman, you cannot say nothing about that and you cannot bring that back up because whatever it is going on or ain't going on between him and that woman, they got kids together. They had a life together. That is the mother of his children, and he feels some type of way about that woman. So you got to watch your step. But she got comfortable and got to talking about how his wife was this and that and how she was better than her, which way she was better than her. Used whatever details he might have given to her, no matter how vague. Yeah, that's why she said such and such to you that time. Now I see why she did, that kind. Listen. Precisely, babe. With all that money and independence, she still wanted to have a hard conversation. Let me tell you about what that hard conversation crap is about. Men ended when the physical thing, women ended with the hard conversation. Just because Fanny, like so many other women, like to have the last word and they like to argue. She like arguing. This is why being a lawyer fit her so well. She likes arguing the point. Even when there is no point to argue. They would have vicious arguments, she said. You heard her say it? Always tension in the relationship throughout the relationship. And she wondered why she's in her 50s without a man that takes her seriously. Because no matter how cute she thought she was back in the day and how cute she thinks she is now with that backwards dress on and that pro style brown gel in the front of her head, flaking in the front of her head. Can't manage to keep a man because 1 minute she ain't gonna settle and the next minute she's settling for everything and everything the dog dragged into. Any man to do, even somebody else's man to do. This is what the independent hyena don't tell you. Why they running around here trying to talk about lionesses and how pick me lionesses is and how desperate a lioness is and all of that type of stuff. They're much more, they're the ones that's desperate. Because lionesses don't go slithering around to every married man and making herself a career side chick. Because we better than it. We don't scrounge around and try to siphon some other woman's man. And then be the little side piece and then this and that. And, he sneaks and come get me. And then, I talk crazy about when he gonna leave her so he can marry me. All she did was argue with that man. She don't know how to do nothing else. She don't know how to not be a DA in the house. She couldn't turn off DA when she was talking to that man. She couldn't just be Fani. She had to be the DA of Fulton County, Fani Willis. Especially if she thought she could make a point or argue something. See how she overtalked on that stand? You listen to that. You cannot tell me she didn't talk to that man like that. And she talks to any man like that. She thinks she can run men. She thinks she can run them. Because she the DA somewhere. So she think that she run you in the courtroom and out the courtroom. She think you supposed to kowtow to whatever she talking about, no matter how she say it. And, and she can talk to you like you got two heads and all that kind of stuff. She talking to men like he done grew a tail and all of that. And then you ain't supposed to say nothing to her. This is why they not together. This is why she never got promoted to wife, even once he filed for divorce. Because I don't think that Mr. Wade's divorce is finalized. They're in the process of getting a divorce, from what I understand. And so she automatically knows. She knew from the time that he stopped having sex with her in what she said, June or July, that she was not going to be his anybody. Not even his side piece, not even wanting to knock no sonic rings out of you, baby. You done really fumbled. How you fumble side chick status? When all you supposed to be doing, from what I understand as a side chick, all you supposed to be doing is tooting it up, gobbling it down, smiling, cheesing, and laughing, and sending back to his wife. You ain't even supposed to have none of the stresses. You ain't supposed to be worried about whether he paying your bills or not. It ain't supposed to be nothing to argue about. How you argue about sex and going somewhere? How that be an argument? You understand what I'm saying? From what I understand, maybe the definition of side chick changed. Because it's a difference between a man's other woman and his side chick. Do y'all understand that there's a difference? Because some men have his other woman. It's not a side chick. He having a whole relationship with her. Now, I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm not giving a qualifier on it being right. I'm saying there's a difference. Your side chick that you just tap air once again, that's one thing. Sometimes men have a whole other woman. The only difference is he can't legally marry her because he legally married to the other one. But if he could, he would, because he been with her just as long almost. And he loved that woman. He give her resources like he give his marital wife resources. Do you understand there's a difference? That's the old running thing that black folks said, a man back in the day have a funeral and then his wife is there with the kids and then Miss Hattie come in. And you wonder why Miss Hattie's so hurt. Because he been married to the wife for 35 years, but he been with Miss Hattie for 15. So it'd be a difference. She wasn't that. She was the hotline bling. That's different. You can call me at 2 a.m. I'll come tap it up for you and all of that. How you arguing? If he ain't taking care of you and he ain't paying bills for you and and all y'all doing supposedly is working together. This supposed to be your work husband, right? You're working together. He was mentoring you. You respected him and loved him. See, that's the other thing. Let me point out something else. I know we done went into overtime. Y'all like the show. I need likes. We in overtime now. Give me one moment. Give me one moment. Cause I wanna do something here. I wanted to see if I could. Sometimes I don't know how to do it. No, I'm in the wrong place. Cause I wanna cause I don't really do it. Oh, I think I found it. I think I found what I'm trying to do. We're gonna just do subscribers only. We're gonna do subscribers only for a little bit. I got to be able to give my mods these responsibilities as well, because I think YouTube has a setting where mods can do this as well. I'm gonna have to check that out. But in any case, So if you want to chat, you got to subscribe. But this is what we're going to do because we in overtime now. This is a woman that can't be bothered to act right with no man. At one point, she tells everybody that this man was a mentor to her. Let me share the screen again. Because I want y'all to hear it. We're going to go back.
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
so
ma'am.
those are the ones that you filed.
This looks like me for sure. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Judge, we'd move to admit 20 and 21.
I think you need to delineate which one's which
20
one's which.
is 2021, so it accounts for the time period, Your Honor, January the 1st, 21 through December the 31st, 2021. That is Defendant's Exhibit 20. Defendant's Exhibit 2021, it accounts for the time period, January the 1st, 2022 through December the 1st of 2022.
All right. Any objection to exhibits 20 and 21
Nope. Sorry.
from other counsel? Admitted without objection.
When did your personal relationship with Mr. Wade end?
Our personal relationship ended in this year. So let's be very clear so that we don't mix words. I don't want to mix words in here. Mr. Wade is my friend right now. Mr. Wade, I would say, has been my friend since 2020. I think he started out as like a mentor and a professional colleague. He became my friend and somebody that I really respected. I feel very indebted to Mr. Wade for taking on the task of this job.
Now I'm gonna pause it here. I needed y'all to hear her say that because this is important. She said that he started out a mentor, somebody she really respected, a professional colleague. Okay. Let me tell you what that means. Before he became her man, quote unquote, before they start banging, this is why she's telling everybody why she was attracted to him in the first place. What was attractive? It's 3 letters. We can break this down. She was attracted to him. 3 letters. Put it in the chat if you know. It's 3 letters. The reason why she was attracted to him. Put it in the chat if you know. Please, somebody. Do we know? Thank you. SOS. That's what he was giving her. That's why she was initially attracted. He was a mentor. He was a professional colleague. He was giving her SOS. He was providing leadership to her. First, as a professional and a friend. See, for whatever reason, hyenas got a switch where they like SOS in one way and hate it in another way, even if it's coming from the same man. She loved it when he wasn't her man and when he didn't have authority over her. This is why they take SOS from their bosses and things of that nature. You understand? Because when it's all said and done, what he tells her is almost an option to her. He does not exercise or wield any true authority over her to make her or hold her accountable to why she didn't. So she takes these things as suggestions. However, when a man is good at his leadership, it's a turn on, even to hyenas. When a man is good at his leadership, it is a turn on. Precisely. Because somebody that's your mentor is above you. So you're not an equal. This is where the arguments come from. I am the one that give you, I told you how to do it. We not equals, beloved. You realize I'm on a higher playing field than you, right? And this is why your money don't matter and your position as a DA. None of that matters to me. You a DA and I'm not a DA because I didn't run and you did. Okay? She likes the SOS. It's attractive. It's masculine. It's a turn on. Anytime your man give you SOS, it's a turn on. Unc was giving me SOS before we got married. In the courting stage, he was giving me SOS and his leadership. It was a turn on. I like that. Oh, you lead? Oh, you lead. Okay. For hyenas, and this is the difference between a hyena and a lioness. See, after me and Unc got married, his SOS didn't become controlling and something I didn't like. I'm just as attracted, even more so, to his SOS and his leadership abilities now than I was in the beginning because I've gotten more of it over time. For hyenas, the exact opposite happens. As soon, see, they play nice like they gonna follow the leadership. This is how hyenas be getting men initially. They play like they gonna follow the leader. They play like they got good followership. They play like they gonna listen. Because they do listen more or less. But as soon as that man become her man, as soon as there becomes a romantic relationship for a hyena, it cuts off. And they began to see this man as he's controlling. I ain't got to do what he say. Why is he talking to me like this, that, and the third? Now, the very same leadership and SOS that he was given, that she was so turned on and enamored by and praised him for, and oh, you just so magnificent, you just so smart, you just so intelligent, love you so much, you just all the same SOS from the same man, the same leadership style, the same way he was talking to you, the same way. Now all of a sudden, after he clapped your cheeks, now all of a sudden this method of leadership that you were so enamored by, now he got to change that, and it's not good enough. Now it's not good enough. That's what she's telling everybody. Always tension in a relationship because I want to argue simple things. When he would assert that authority, when he would assert that leadership, when he would assert that SOS, that's where the argument comes from. You ain't my daddy. You don't tell me. I'm the DA. I work just as hard as you. I got just as much money as you. And none of that means anything in the world of femininity and who women are and what makes you good women. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. And that's why he had to sit her down and look her dead in her eyeball and tell me the only thing you can do is suck and sandwich make. Please. Because if you think that this is all because I can't make a dollar without you. You may appoint me to this position, but please understand I can make a dollar without you. I've been making them without you. You think I need you to build me up? I don't need you to build me. You're not building me. You're not making me into the man I am. I'm the man I am because I'm the man I am because you want me over here. You want me because I was the man I was before you met me. You was giving me the googly eyes when we met at that conference. Stop playing with me. I could have tapped you that night. That's why she got mad at that at the documents. I mean, you insinuated that we slept the very first night we met, because you probably did. And even if you didn't, it was the possibility he could have tapped it had he asked, had he pushed up on you. Huh? Was you mad? Mad because it hit too close to home? Hmm? Before I go communication style, I want to point something else out. Listen to how she talking.
Your question is inaccurate.
What?
Because you stated that the person I chose, we had a personal relationship. So we had a friendship. We have all these distinguishing factors. Remember, when I chose him in November of 21, first of all, let's get this straight. Mr. Wade was not actually my first choice. That's no insult to him.
Your Honor,
No, it is you, because of the way you phrased the question. You said, when I chose him, I didn't inform people of a personal relationship. We have defined personal as romantic. It is an inaccurate way to state the question.
Then I will certainly restate it so it is very accurate.
Okay, and please do not yell at me.
You hired Mr. Wade for the first time on November 1st.
The part that I wanted to point out was making useless distinctions. She knows what he's saying. And then when he asserted himself, don't yell at me, after she was doing all that yelling on the stand, hollering at folk. Women, do you do this? Ask yourself, when you are talking to your man, is that what you do? Do you, in the course of him talking, you know fully what he's talking about? Do you then start deflecting by making little distinctions here and there into what he said and what kind of word that was and why he asked you like that? And why did he say it like that? Because see, now, because that's what you said. Do you talk to your man like that? And then when he try to get you back to talking about these apples after you done got done talking about butternut squash, then you want to sit up there and say, don't holler at me. Why are you yelling? Is that you? Ask yourself. Because remember I told you we was focusing on women's communication. This is how y'all have an argument with your man. And this is why y'all arguments get so out of hand. Y'all arguments get out of hand because y'all deflect so much. You make small little comments. You spin the conversation off from the precise point that was being made. You know full and well what's being said to you. You know what is being asked of you. Yet and still, you will deflect things And then you will be like, don't yell at me. When he be like, no, we're not talking about that. Why are you yelling? Another example of her knowing exactly what's being said and then doing it again. This is the deflection. These are the deflections.
And he is certainly my friend and one of the people that I respect the most. So if you ask about a personal relationship, I consider myself to have a personal relationship right now, Mr. Wade. I consider myself to have a personal relationship with Anna Cross. I consider myself to have a personal relationship with Mr. Abadi. I consider myself to have a personal relationship with Andrew Evans.
Okay, let me just clarify that.
I have a personal relationship with him as we speak right now.
A romantic
I don't think that's what you're asking. I think that's what you're asking.
When did your romantic relationship with Mr. Wade end? When did it end?
Me and Mr. Wade, we are good friends. My respect for him has grown over these 7 weeks of attacks. We are very good friends. I think, but for these attacks, it would have been a friendship that, as life goes, you would have stopped having. I think that you have cemented that we'll be friends till the day we die.
Right.
Let's.
Could we just have an answer to the question?
I can handle.
Do y'all talk like that? When your man trying to ask you questions, do you start spinning off into a story? That man asked her, or that woman asked her, she had a personal relationship. She knows precisely what was being asked. Was he clapping the cheeks or nah? Then she went all off into, we good friends. And I consider myself to be in a personal relationship with such. And I consider myself to be in a personal relationship, blah, blah, blah. And I consider myself to be in a girl. Newsflash, just because y'all talk fast don't mean that y'all are telling the truth. As a matter of fact, 9.5 times out of 10, all that talking fast is a lie. Do you talk like that? I want the women to ask me that. Do you talk like that? Be honest. Be honest with yourself. Do y'all talk like that to y'all man? Is that why your relationships don't work? Is that why these arguments and confrontations, things that could just as well be a simple conversation, get blown out of proportion because you do stuff like that? He asked you, let's say your man told you not to go to a particular place at a particular time. And then you did it. And he asked you, did you go to that particular place at such and such time after I told you don't do that? Instead of saying, yeah, I went. Well, I mean, because when she called me, I ain't know she was even over there. She called me and said she was stranded. So then when I answered the phone, I mean, she was crying and everything because, her boyfriend just broke up. And so when she was crying and everything and then talking about she was stranded and then saying, could I come pick her up? I just said, yeah, I ain't know she was over there. So when we went over there, you understand? Do you understand? Nobody asked you that. It is a way to try to get around accountability. Stop storytelling. Every time, didn't nobody ask you about all of the details and trying to explain what you're saying? Because you may have an opportunity to explain it. He might ask you why. If you just answer the question first, yes, I went over there. I told you that not to do that. Now, why did you do it? Now you may be able to go into some form of explanation. Well, I went over there initially because blah, 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 blah. Once I was over there, I realized I wasn't supposed to be over there, but, I felt compelled to do it because blah, 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 blah. Now, this may not be an answer that is acceptable to him. After you give that explanation, might not be a good enough explanation in his eyes to have defied what he said. Do you understand? Stop talking like this. Every woman is guilty to some degree of it. Whether you a good woman or you a hyena and you do it every day. Every woman, myself included, have been guilty of this in some manner and to some degree. The only difference between the lioness and the hyena in this case is that the lioness will accept the accountability. Okay. I did do what I wasn't supposed to do. Nine out of 10 times, even if he is angry with you, the acceptance of the accountability will allow him to get over the emotion of being mad about it. Because there's nothing more infuriating than somebody telling you something and playing in your face about it. And you're like, why are you doing? See, that's another layer of being mad. See, now I'm not just mad about the initial thing. Now you making me mad about even how you responded. That's what a lot of y'all ladies don't realize. He may be upset about the initial thing, but now he upset because of the way you responding to it. So you might could have got over the initial thing, but because you responded in this stupid, I'm going to deflect and not take no responsibility and accountability for this type situation, and you just going to keep on going with that. Getting mad that he's mad, not going to work. Crying because you trying to get him to shut up about it. Now we want to focus on why his tone was bad, and then that hurt your feelings. So now we got to talk about your feelings being hurt by this. No. See, that's not going to work. This is why we're focusing on the communication. All manner of it, from tone to the lies, to the mischaracterizations, to the mischaracterizations, to the fudging of detail. All of that is hyena communication. And lionesses have to watch that, because women are prone to it in general. And the reason why women are prone to it in general is because we don't really like accountability. We don't like for our men to see us as having done something wrong. Do we understand that? Even the lioness does not want to be seen as a failure or a bad person in her husband's eyes. This is where the hurt feelings come from. But but mature as a lioness when you can accept that fact and still take the accountability. I do not like to be seen as a failure or as a bad person in my husband's eyes. I don't ever, not even a little. However, if and when that comes up, I can feel those feelings. It's okay to feel them. What's not okay is to start deflecting and not taking the accountability. Lionesses take the accountability. We just take the accountability and we receive whatever the consequences are for things, and we try to move forward in the best way possible, and we try to do better next time. That is the way of the lioness. We just try to do better next time. Okay? That is what the lioness is about. Hyenas will deflect to the end of the world. Even into delusion, they will do it. They'll deflect until their relationships fall because they can't take responsibility and accountabilities and things of that nature. That's why hyena relationships don't work, because they can't get over the emotion part of that. And because they are immature and they don't think like lionesses and they're destructive and chaotic like that, they don't take order. They keep going down a delusional path and they never take the accountability, frustrating the man to such a degree that he cannot deal with them any longer. The reason why lioness relationships typically work is because we do not frustrate our husbands to the point of no return. Going ahead and taking the accountability, going ahead and receiving the consequences and things of that nature is typically not as bad as you think it's going to be. It's not. Lionesses realize this, and I'm talking to young lionesses too, especially. He is not, if he is a lion, he's not going to leave you because you make a mistake. Do you understand that? If you do something wrong or you make a mistake, especially if it's not malicious, and I'm going to say this and end it off, especially if it's not something malicious, you're not doing malicious things. And it's just an honest mistake, or it's an honest, like, I didn't mean no harm. Yes, I did something that I really probably wasn't supposed to do. I didn't mean no harm. I just, whatever. He is not prepared to leave you. Accepting accountabilities and things of that nature help him as well as you to overcome whatever the obstacle was, whatever the problem may have been. Most marital problems are workable because they are small problems before they are big problems. Okay? Exactly. Because this is what lionesses worry over. Secretly in our lioness hearts, we worry that if we do something, or if we make a mistake, or if we we don't want our husbands to think less of us as women, and we don't want them to love us any less. So we fear that. There is a little fear of that. It may not be a big one, but it is there. It is present. We want our husbands to always regard us as the good woman that he thinks we are, the good woman he married. We want to live up to the expectation. And when we fall short of that, especially when it's our fault, and we fall short of that for something that we've done, or something that, or whatever, this is the difference between the lioness and the hyena. We're very repentant about that. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. This is where all our crying and all that come from, because we really do want to live up to the expectation of, you are my good wife. That's what we want. I always want Unc to look at me that way. This is that we don't be wanting him to think he made a mistake in choosing us. You understand? We don't want our husbands to at some point conclude that it was a mistake to choose us. Precisely. We don't like letting our husbands down. We don't like letting down the pride. If a lioness go out too many times and can't bring the hunt back, that become a disappointment. You understand? If our husbands make the disappointed face, we feel that. We feel that. Like, oh, I did something. I did something. Or I said something. And now he's disappointed. And then we be wanting to make it right. Now we're going to fix it. Okay? A woman like Fani and so many other women like her do not understand the meaning of peace to your husband. It's not just being quiet, like physically silent. That's not really that. Because it's some quiet hyenas. They don't bring peace. Lionesses worry about the peace. We don't want to disrupt the peace. We don't want him to start feeling like we ain't really good women. Hyenas don't care. They'll keep the foolishness going. I'm sure he told her at some point many times, calm down, Fani. You're doing too much, Fani. But she couldn't keep the peace. We had vicious arguments and tension throughout the relationship. That's why you don't have one. Not only with this man that you shouldn't have been in a relationship with in the first place, but any other man. You couldn't even keep the DJ around. He didn't want to hear it either. He want to hear that foolishness. He want to hear you study hooping and hollering and throwing stuff up in his face and little money and this and that. Don't no man want to hear that. And that's why he told her, you can just make a sandwich for me if you just go in there and be quiet. Put your house shoes on, put your Victoria's Secret robe on, close that, go in there and fix me a club sandwich because you tripping. Anyway. Any old way. Let me get to these super chats. Thank you, Conundrum says, as far as procedure is, she's 100% correct in her argument. The problem is she will not be able to maintain that argument. Simple compliance arguments. Thank you. Thank you, HVAC said, what I missed, I was running sprints and missed my notification. Fanny still out here lying about not getting her spine rearranged. Thank you, Mr. Missing said, was she implying he was about to off himself? No, she was referring to, he had some medical, I think they said at some point he was fighting cancer or something like that. And that's what she was referring to, I do believe. Thank you, Dee says she told on herself when she said that's money from her campaign and I have that around. Oh, she definitely, oh, baby, only because I wasn't approaching it from that standpoint. Oh, but she said she kept that campaign money, baby. Yes. I was thinking, I don't know nothing about the rules. I said, you supposed to tell folk you kept your campaign money? Is that what you do with the campaign money you put in your pocket? Oh, well, thank you, Dee. Thank you so much, Victorian says she wanted the Mario coins to turn into Sonic rings. Thank you, Professor Carr, said the chameleons that switch happens because she knows she can't maintain his standards and they can't manipulate him to lower he is to the level of a hyena male. Exactly. Thank you, UFO, for the sponsor of the show. Thank you so much, UFO. One of my day ones. I appreciate you so much. Said Kendra knows. Thank you so much, sweetheart. Thank you once again, HVAC. And one of my friends' dad lit up into his daughter one day. She was messing around with a boy and she tried to deflect. She lost her phone, car keys for a month. She knew it was wrong and took her lump. Thank you, Lord Sinister said, please clip this ending. This is something everyone needs to hear about marriage. Thank you so very much. I appreciate all of you for coming through, for rocking with me. I gave you 2 hours and 10 minutes today. So we're going to continue the show, like I said before, every other day. So my next show is going to be Wednesday. Jump down in the comment section. Let me know what you think. like, share, subscribe to the channel if you have not. Once again, I'm your hostess, the Crimson Cure, and this was my perspective. Bye-bye, Crimsonites.